and try and keep So everyone, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the panel party, our official like wrap-up party. Not quite Ibiza, not quite end of season. Sorry, ladies, but I have put on the sparkles for our online sales summit. I feel like we all need a little round of applause. Like literally, I was going to do a little Q&A earlier, and I ended up with a full-blown podcast episode. And there wasn't anybody on the live, so I'm like, "Welcome to my TED Talk, ladies. You've given me like a screen. I'm just going to keep on chatting." Oh, how is everyone? How is your Thursday night, ladies?
It's good. I've cracked open the Prosecco to celebrate. So all good over here.
Oh my God, I want a Prosecco. I've got like a cup of tea and a camping mug because that's the only thing that was available. You know, when you're down to like the last few cups that are clean.
Tori's got her tea, I can see.
Yeah, I'm on the tea. I'm on the tea as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, Tori.
I think I'm the only one that like doesn't have kids either, aren't I? Like,
yeah.
What's going on?
I don't have kids.
Okay, well,
oh yeah, I live through all my single friends. I'm like, and now what are you doing? Are you having a bath like by yourself? And when you go to the toilet, what happens? Like, does anyone interrupt you?
Honestly, I've locked myself in my downstairs toilet to join calls before because I'm like, I've got two mummy's boys and they don't leave me alone. So I'm literally on Zoom with the toilet, like.
Yeah. Oh, but I love that though. I always say like boys are for the mums because like the girls, they are ruthless. Like they will like daddy's girls, like literally, unless you've got something they need. I love that. So Kaylee, sorry, I'm like totally taking over as always.
No, don't be silly. It's fine. I'm just I've got the Facebook group up as well, so I know a couple of the ladies are watching us live on there as well, which is amazing. But no, I'm so excited. This is a great way to finish off the summit and to share with people and have like a little bit of an open discussion.
Yeah, I think that's it for me. Like we were chatting about what would be even more powerful, I think, is just other than, you know, delivering it in, you know, with all the value and all the things. But it's like for me, I don't know about you ladies, and it's probably the same. Like what I find most activating as at this kind of stage in my career and all the things is like the conversations between the sessions and the things that are going on behind the scenes. That's where I always get the most value. So I do have a few questions prepared because these are kind of ones that I was chatting with my women this morning and just saying like, what do you want to know? You know, like what would you actually want to know? Like all of the women here, so grateful to have you, just like essentially trailblazing in your own respective industries. So it's kind of like all of the questions, all the things sort of thing. So shall I kick it off? And we're going to kind of go round. So we wanted this really interactive, like genuinely as if we're sitting somewhere bougie right now with Catriona's Prosecco and like 8 straws. Because I haven't got any alcohol in my house. How sad is that? I think I'm probably the most in need with 5 kids as well.
Yeah.
I just always forget to buy it. But yeah, so like maybe then we can all go round and kind of say our sort of things. But so yeah, so and I was asking them like, what would you want to know? And it's all very much like just kind of picking your brains, like what do you think is like industry trends and what's going on, what's working well, what's not. So I wanted to kick it off with like a nice kind of like easier in question. So Fiona, you're actually on my screen, so I'll start with you. Like what is working right now in your business for you and your clients, would you say?
I would say the sense of community. One of the things that I found is that particularly other women owner operators are so gracious with their time, gracious with their insights. And there's a real trend at the moment for women in business identifying an area of their business that they want to outsource and really seeking that expertise because they see the value of investing in themselves and taking it to the next level. So for me, it would be community and investment. And when we serve a cross section of clients, those two things can be mutually beneficial, which is fantastic.
Yeah, so it's like the collaboration aspect is working for you. Yeah, definitely. And you know what, girls, I don't, how long has everybody been in business? Like, I feel like we need to unmute and just have a chat because, you know, otherwise it'd be a nightmare to get a word in edgeways with me. But
yeah, 2 years for me.
Yeah. Kaylee, you're like a few years in, aren't you? Yeah. Tori, you're like a few years, aren't you? I feel
Yeah,
like
I'm about to
such
hit 3.
yeah, I feel like such an old woman. Like obviously I've
All
been in
right,
business
Beth.
a long time, but I've been so probably like 9 years, but I've been as a coach in the online space, well, coaching for probably like 5 years, in the online space probably for like 3 or 4 years. And it's very different now, which is so goddamn refreshing. Like when I first come in, the only people that you could really look to in terms of like industry experts were people like Russell Brunson and like all the American like guys. And I signed up for so many of their programs. And then I remember just literally like getting halfway through the training and be like, dude, you clearly got no fucking kids or nothing else to do. Like, I can't run my business like this. It is not working for me. And it was just, and then equally trying to find other women that were kind of doing what I was doing was a little bit of a challenge. And then every time I would kind of like jump into people's DMs, they kind of like like hiss at me, like go away. And I was actually joking about it, but it's one of the reasons why I created my podcast, because I was like, nobody wants to talk to you when they think you could just be like trying to sell them shit, when you've actually got something that could be seen as an advantage or some sort of leverage. Suddenly everybody wants to talk to you because they're looking for that thing for them. Nowadays it's so much more just about the energy and the vibes, which I just love.
Yeah, I'm catching you up, Beth.
Oh, Sarah, I didn't even see you on my screen.
I'm 7 years in nearly now.
Yes, Sarah's an OG like
different. Yeah, it's definitely different from the days where there wasn't short form video and everyone didn't have links and it was that 10k to the swipe up. It was a very different market for people that were trying to get into the online space. Whereas now, I think everyone can agree it's much not easier, but it has a lot more elements that make it more accessible than it did at the beginning. You can get a lot of free things now that support startups like MailChimp, MailerLite, like all of these were like new. Even Zoom wasn't a thing. I had a call quickly for everyone with a guy that I worked with. He's into tech now. I'm going down the AI route. I'm trying to build something new to break into the market space. And we were laughing at the fact that we didn't even use Zoom. We just used to call. Like, hey, try and do this without Zoom. Yeah, literally on the phone. We call through Messenger and I'd have to explain and send screenshots.
Yeah.
Very well. But yes, OG with everyone here to the fellows and welcome.
Oh my God, I didn't even get an Instagram for like, I don't think I had an Instagram for the barbershop, and it was literally just the barbers like mainly taking selfies. Like it was not a business asset at all. I was quite concerned that we might end up with like dick pics on the like stories and things. All like just absolute degenerates. like, oh, please don't put your weekend like drunk selfies and things. So I remember like literally just thinking like, do I need this? Like, what is it? You know, and now it's like, oh my God, what would I do without it? Like I literally wouldn't have a business anymore if I didn't have it.
Yeah, it's like a masterpiece, isn't it, now with the Instagram? Like I was talking to someone about that the other day, how you could just before put up like any photo or like any quote and that was it. You know, now it's like you're writing like a dissertation in your carousel and you're filming a whole video, and it's so much more time consuming and so much goes into it. But I think all of us can agree like Instagram is so important for our businesses, right? Like you couldn't live without it.
Yeah, and I do love that actually. Like I'm such an old woman, as I said, but I appreciate the fact that it is a little bit harder now to work for like to not necessarily harder, but the fact that like you say, it's like you've got to put so much more effort and thought and like value into what you're creating. Like I think that's a good thing. You know, I've come from the days where I literally had to sell my house to buy my first business, and I believe like that's where the journey is, that's where the growth is, that's where the depth is, that's where you like commit to master and you actually learn what you're capable of as a woman. Because I don't know, did you all have like corporate jobs before? What were you doing before?
I did.
Yeah, what were you doing?
I actually did a post about it today. So I started off as an office junior and then I worked my way up to exec assistant to a CEO and the C-suite. And then when I had my second child, I realized that it was not going to work anymore. Like I used to drop my first off to nursery at like 7:30 in the morning, get the train in central London. I would get back like rushing for the nursery closing at 6. So yeah, when I had my second, and then it was 2020 as well. So he was born in February, and then obviously everything happened in March. And I just saw an ad about becoming a social media manager and then just ran with it. I'd never done it before. I'd never posted a reel before, but I always loved social media. I always loved my phone and Instagram, and yeah, I'm just so glad that I saw an Instagram ad about becoming a social media manager and just took the leap. So
Like
that was
divine
my background.
inspiration.
Yeah.
Intervention. Yeah, I love that. But I bet now when you reflect back to like who you were then versus who you are now, like there's probably been so much growth in like getting visible, doing the things, putting yourself forward as a brand. Like I don't know about you, but me as a corporate person, like I've always been quite outspoken. Obviously I've always worked in male dominated industries, so like you kind of have to, but definitely I was so like people pleaser, like okay, I'll work 50 hours a week, like in a day sort of thing, like okay, no worries. Now I'm like, bitch, I don't do nothing but anybody that I don't want to do. Like I love this version of me.
Yeah, I put that on my post today as well. I think it was like I was always, because I've got 3 sisters and like brought up by my mum, and we're very like girl power, so I would always rebel against that thing of like women don't ask for a pay rise. So every annual review I was like, I want a pay rise, and then they would give me £1,000 like for the whole year, you know, so it's split per month, it's like hardly anything, but I would be absolutely buzzing with that each year. And I just had this full circle moment where I was like, I can literally make £1,000, you know, in a day, from a post right now. And I used to, you know, be celebrating and on top of the world when I'd get that. I mean, I can't even do maths. What is it, like £100 a month or less?
Yeah, not even. It's probably like 60 quid after tax.
Yeah.
Like,
so
take home.
yeah, crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I love that's the thing. Like most people, even if you get that success too early, I think you bypass like all of the beautiful bits that come with the challenge. Like, can any of you relate to that?
100%. Yeah. I feel like these days loads of people have just got such a sense of entitlement. Like, you know, they want it to be easy, and it's like in the moment it is so hard. Like, yes, I've been there, and I've literally been like, why is this happening to me? And you know, this person's doing that and it's not happening for me. But now, like, honestly, so grateful for all of the shit. Like, it makes you so resilient. It's more lessons to be learned as well. Like, if I didn't have 5 flop launches, I never probably would have had, you know, a
epic launch at the end of that.
Like that. I would never have even dreamed of before. So yeah, I feel like everybody wants to jump that bit, don't they? And like it's so hard, but like that is where you're made, isn't it?
100%. And also it like filters out in the rest of your life.
I think it's the growth, isn't it? It's the growth that you go through.
Yeah, so sorry, like even just in the rest of your life, I find that I'm so like literally I row with everybody now. Like literally I had 2 fights with the school today because I'm just like, I just have now suddenly got this sense of like, I'm not going to sacrifice anymore. I'm not going to stay quiet anymore. I'm not going to like allow people to push me out, like out of the way and all of the things. And that comes from like earning my stripes in business, I think.
It's also getting out of your own way as well, though, isn't it? Like that's what a big part of it. Like for me, you know, lucky is not the right word, but I don't have children. It's just me and my partner, you know, in our 1-bedroom flat that we've got to worry about. So like my biggest thing is like I'm the problem, like, and you don't realize until you look back that a lot of the time, like we are our own problem, aren't we? Like I literally made an investment 2 days ago and like fucking cried my eyes out for like an hour afterwards. But because it was scary, but it was scary, but also felt like so big. Like, you know, you just feel like this. It was the weirdest cry I've ever had in my life. I was like laughing and crying.
Symbolic.
Yeah. And also like feelings of guilt. Like I can only imagine what it's like when you've got kids, you know, because it's like, oh, I could spend that money on buying a house or doing this with Ryan. But instead it's like, no, I'm doing it for me. And like, yeah, I would never have done anything like that for me before, and like been brave enough to make a decision like that.
That's it, isn't it? It's being supported and it's symbolic. I love that because that's the thing. Sorry.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, yeah, that's it, Tori. Like I'm really proud that you've like brought up that like failed launches, everyone's had failed launches. I remember back in the days, I'm with my partners now, hence the lovely piano and tools background. This is not my office.
Are you sure you're not like one of Santa's elves in your part-time?
Yeah, it's just the commute. Like my partner lives an hour away from where I live, so it's a commute. But anyway, so I'm using his office, which you can see is very manly. Anyway, what I was going to say on the
carpenter, isn't he, or something? Isn't he like always like building stuff? Yeah,
builds yachts. It sounds exciting. It's not. It's industrial. It's the steel. Anyway, so yeah, Tori, I was saying about failed launches. I remember very much like yourself in the beginning, right in the beginning, again, we're going back old school, it was all about calls. The amount of calls I would have to make and messages, and averaging back then, it was like 40 messages with like a 1, maybe 2 conversion. It's changed now how things have moved forward, but it's even for those that are still here today, that everyone's still going to experience a failed launch. There's some targets I'll go to try and hit so many people that I want on, like I'll have in my head, I am going to get 20 people onto this like low ticket offer because I want more of the volume. And sometimes it's like, actually, I've undercut myself there. Me and Beck were having this conversation the other day of like, well, actually, I've deterred people off from it being so low that like when it's like 3, maybe 5 people, I'm like, oh my God, I've done something wrong here. But the reality is we haven't done something wrong. We're all just learning what worked for us, what's keeping us on our level of like, this person's got the expertise at a price point that's manageable for them to access, where they're actually going to commit. And I think that's something in the industry that people need to remember. When you're parting with money, you're making a commitment rather than, oh, it cost me 27 quid and I'm just not going to show up. Like that happens. I've had that happen in the past. People have spent this little bit of money, and it's me, because I'm really there for success and getting them to the next level, I'm actually messaging them like, hey, you've paid this money, like, oh, I'm just going to catch the replay and get it later. And I'm like, it's not really the point of where we're trying to go to get you to the next level. I want a really interactive group, which is what Kaylee and Beck have obviously come together and made, which is why I love the power of collaboration. So yeah, Tori, you're not alone there, lovely. I sometimes get like that, especially when it comes to investment. I'm like, oh my God, did I make the right decision doing that? And then I kind of think, yeah, I did. Everything is made for the right reasons, and it's going to get on the right path.
Totally. Yeah, it was like the weirdest emotions ever. It was like shit scared, excited. And like I said, the biggest thing for me, I think, was guilt as well. Because like I said, you know, me and Ryan really want to buy a house, and it's like I've just committed to a 20 grand investment, you know what I mean? Like we could go be putting that down on a house, and then I'm going to Vegas for the retreat next month, and it's his birthday, and Vegas is his dream fucking holiday. So I literally was like, I feel so bad, but I really want to do it.
I'm going to Florida at the end of the month. I haven't even taken my kids, and I'm like, I feel so bad, but you know, I'm being interviewed on Fox News, so you know, and you're like, I don't feel that bad. It'll be fine. Cool. I'll pay it back. We'll go next year. Oh, Shanice is just coming in.
Well, if I hadn't been to both of those places, I'd be really jealous. But now I feel like I don't want to drop in my little Portugal trip in 2 weeks. Is to both still be on that off to Portugal. You two are going stateside to Vegas and Florida. It just sounds whichever. Oh, just before Shanice says hi, just a shout out to Claire. I can see you down there. Thanks for joining my live the other day, babe. It's good to see you again. I always love seeing Claire. We had the right laugh last year. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
Oh, hi Shanice.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
Oh, there is no late here. It's like literally just drop in. We're just like chatting shit essentially. But I absolutely
literally, my kids did not want to go to sleep. Also, everyone looks really glam. I've just had my eyebrows tinted, so they look like really fucking dark. So no judgment over here.
I love it. I've got a dress on. I'm absolutely sweating out my ass with the ring light on. I'm like, by the end of it, I'm just gonna be beetroot. So actually, I know we were talking about failed launches and things. I just had a failed launch recently. I don't think it's for like when you're at the beginning of your journey. I think the universe will continually test you, and just, you know, I think as an entrepreneur, the more that you can build up that resilience, but that creativity and that, okay, we go again mindset, like the more that genuinely sets you up for success. It's not every journey is like this hero's journey and then you never have to deal with it again. Actually, I find that it's like, and here we are again, but in a different way. Like, and that's okay. Like you can just keep on, like, but you've got your toolkit then to keep you moving. So I was just going to say along that kind of note, so what trends do you think are starting to come in that are just kind of maybe changing things, even in the time that you've been in business? I'm definitely noticing more of like, it's almost like a full circle moment where people are wanting the more like intimacy. Like you were saying, Katrina, about the content, like people want the depth. I think at the time, or for a time, people were quite just happy to be in the vibe and in the energy of people and, you know, all of these things and just in the room. And I think now people are like, actually, no, I want a conversation. I want to feel seen. I want to feel heard. And I'm finding like this is a great time for in-person events, for retreats, for more immersive experiences, smaller containers, but maybe high ticket. Like, what are you guys kind of noticing?
I think definitely a more vulnerable side in content. Like, people, I think, are getting sick of the I earned £1 million in my sleep while I was on a private jet. Like, it's just really, everyone's just like, no, bored of that, like, turn off. And people are here for like more of the vulnerable, real ups and downs, like honest, like you said as well, connection and intimacy, like getting to know each other. So that's what I'm talking to a lot of people right now about their Instagram content, is how they can bring in like their personal brand, their vulnerability, sharing the ups and downs, because people don't like to share, like Tori just said about failed launches, and Sarah, like, people don't like to share that. We only want to go on and share the good things. But I, like, my post today was about like struggling with being a mum and having a business, and like so many people have connected with that and engaged with that more so than any of my other recent content that's been tips and sales type content. So I'm seeing definitely building your personal brand and being more vulnerable and real and honest online.
And I would second that as well, Katrina, because I mean, I remember when I made my last investment in my coach that I'm working with now, and I knew that I wanted to work with someone who was real, someone that was also a mother, someone that is transitioning from, I know I came from education, but transitioning from, you know, working full time into building a business. And to me, this is my own personal opinion, I kind of felt like I was just being bombarded by all these massive coaches, multi-millionaires, like, you can do this, like you said, make money in your sleep, sit at the beach and not really work, get someone else to do all your work for you. And it's not, again, I know that success doesn't come down to that. It comes down to a real hard graft, hard work, failed launches, failed all sorts in order to grow. So I knew that when I made that investment, I wanted to invest in someone that I truly admired, but also knew did the work, you know, and came from that real background. And also for me, it was, you know, it was finding someone that was also a mum that I could really, you know, being a single mum that I am, I knew that I had to kind of really connect with someone and who, you know, really truly understood who I was and what I was about. So I think you're absolutely spot on. Like, again, it's the vulnerability, but actually just being really real, you know. And I think I'm the same as you. When I started to really talk more and share my story more in terms of not the single mum thing, but more to do with actually, do you know what, working and building a business whilst working full-time is bloody hard work. But actually there's so many people that are doing that, because unless you can replace your income automatically, there are so many people building businesses and having to work and having to be a mum and having to be a, you know, a partner and all of the things. So again, the reality is this is not easy. It's absolutely so hard. And I think that's where people, they admire you more as an individual, because they can see that even if you're not there now, but you were there, and they want to know your journey, that's your story, and actually what you did, what were the pieces to kind of put that puzzle together to make it work.
I had a really interesting thing once, actually. It's so interesting as you were saying that. I'm like, yeah, that's so true. I really struggle with that side of like putting it out on socials about like the kids and, you know, my struggle as a single mum with 5 kids, like homeschooling, like it's an absolute shit show at times over here. And yeah, I had a coach and he was like, we need to lose the kids. Like, this is not, I've had this conversation with Sarah, like, your life is not aspirational. Like, people don't want to like hear about any of that. They're not going to want to invest in you. Like, they don't want your results or your life. And I'm like, I'm living in like London, holding my own, like financially responsible for 6 kids, because I also have my stepson. And I've like left toxic relationships and all the things. And I'm like, that feels like success to me. I think I'm pretty much fucking winning. But do you know what? For a long time, I was like, can't talk about it, because people like it, you know, people won't want to work with you if you're like somewhat not perfect. And then I've seen people kind of go to the other extreme where it's almost like sympathy marketing. And I'm like, I don't want to be that person either. Like, you know, where it's like,
what's that one? I've not seen that. What's that?
It's one time when my dog died, like, and it's just like, oh my lordy.
Me and Rebecca, we were speaking about this when I came on your podcast, weren't we? And just saying like, I think there's a real fucking balance to this. Like, I'm all for authenticity and being real, and it's obviously about like who you want to call into your world as well. Like, if I'm being dead honest, I wouldn't want a coach necessarily that has got kids, because I can't relate to her, she can't relate to me, you know what I mean? So like, the person I've just invested in hasn't got many kids, there's not a big age gap between us, like we are so alike, like we want the same thing. So to me it's like, you know, meant to be. But yeah, I think, yeah, it depends who you're targeting, but yeah, there's a balance with the behind the scenes content as well. I see a lot of people playing on things like mental health these days, and oh, I've got anxiety, I've had depression, I've got this, and sometimes I think it just does go a bit too far. But I love the normal behind the scenes. Like I said, I might not invest in a coach with kids, but I love seeing everybody with their kids. I've got loads of clients with kids, and it's the funniest thing. I have seen their kids bollock naked on calls because they just walk in the room, and it's like, all right, mate. They sit there waving at me, like I'm all for it, But yeah, I think there's a real balance between like what you're sharing and what you're not sharing. Like somebody said to me the other day that they felt really inauthentic not sharing shit behind the scenes, and it's like, we don't have to give everything to our audiences. Like, I love my community to bits, but they don't need to know everything about me. There's certain things I don't want to share, and we don't have to share everything, and it's got to be comfortable.
Yeah, it's self-leadership, isn't it? It's like, the reality is we all have bad days, even with a toolkit and everything else, but it's kind of maybe reflecting on the journey after, once you've had that, like, yeah, do you know what, last week was a nightmare, this is what I did about it. Then it becomes like leadership content, doesn't it? But it's definitely, I'm the same as you, Katrina. Like, I don't resonate with those people that are like, I just make money in my pants and it's so goddamn easy, everything's just so great, I'm just manifesting it. And I'm like, and I believe in energy and manifestations, I teach that shit, but it's like, you can be magnetic and all the things, but guess what, there's some work behind it as well. And I think if you had it too easy, you're bypassing like the real magic. So yeah, definitely got to find the balance that feels good for you. So kind of on that note, like, what's pissing you off right now in your respective industries? I'd love to know like a little bit from you, Shanice, because you're kind of like this little like LinkedIn bubble over here. So you've like cross like platforms and times and dimensional spaces, because you're now on LinkedIn. Like, what are the things that annoy you guys in your industries right now?
Like, very similar in the sense of like, steal this strategy to make like 5 figures in this one post. Like, things like that are really irritating me, because it's kind of making other people feel shit, because they're like, well, I've done these steps and I haven't made 5 figures. So that's like the main one, and people keep dropping into my inbox like all the time about that. So and then like, I feel like people keep saying controversial opinions just to be like controversial. Does that make sense? Like, just to kind of start a debate, even though they don't actually agree with it. I feel like they're just doing it.
It's like clickbait with the Daily Mail, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's actually really annoying me. Like, there was one the other day and it was like related to mental health, and I just thought like it was just really unnecessary, and I felt like it just didn't need to be brought up, sort of thing. So yeah, probably like they're my 2 main ones.
Yeah. How about you ladies, like, or anybody else? Like, Fiona, what's really annoying you? I bet nothing, because you're such a nice person and you're always so lovely. You're going to be like,
no, I'm pretty zen, but it does rattle me.
The rest of you, by the way, you're all lovely too. Sorry.
It does rattle me a little bit where people have different sales approaches, and that's fine. You've got to find something that works for you. But when you see the hard sale approach that's just lacking in soul or connection, that's something that kind of sets me on edge a little bit. I don't like to see that, because I think it just takes away the service and the value that we're all adding.
Yeah. How about you, Kaylee? Like, you're always so nice. I'm like a tracker over here. Like, I offend everybody.
The one thing that I don't like, to be honest, is when people aren't authentically themselves. It annoys me. I'm like, there's so many incredible, I always see the good in absolutely everyone. I really am. I'm one of those people that just, no matter who you are, you have the most incredible thing about you. And it's, for me, it's about obviously opening up, sharing that. And, I talk an awful lot about leadership and about being authentic and all of the things, because we know how, important that is. But I think when you see in the online space so many people doing the same thing as what the really, really, really super big coaches are doing, and you think, do you know what? just do you, because I think if you do you, and actually Tori, I'm gonna have a big shout out to you, because I remember when I first came across Tori, it was actually through one of our mutual friends, Sally, and Sally said to me, go and check out Tori because she's an absolute queen. And when I did, I remember clicking on Tori's page and thinking, do you know what, she is so authentic, so unique, so just absolutely out there. I just loved it, and she stood out to me because I could see the difference, you know, in comparison to other people that sell the same sort of things as Tori. So again, like, to me, I think that's the thing that irritates me, is when people, and I'm going to put my hands up and say I was that person at the very beginning. I was doing what every other business coach was doing. Why? I blended in. I was very vanilla. I was like, why am I doing this? And then I think when I started to work with my coach at the time, she was like, right, who's the real Kaylee? Like, who is the real Kaylee? Who are you? You know, and I think
that's a loaded goddamn
like,
question. You don't want to ask me that question. I'll be like, I'm a Gemini. There's about 20 people in there.
But that's it. I think that's my answer. Yeah. Just authenticity, the lack of, and not to everyone obviously, but I think that's the missing piece to me, you know, for a lot of people. Just be you, do you, because I think that's where the power lies. And when you do that, I mean, Tori, you know, look at her, she's incredible, and she's built the most, you know, insane thing, as have every single one of the ladies here. She's blushing over there in the corner.
It's so refreshing when I went on your page, and it sounds really awful, and like, this is the thing, like, this is my growth, because there's an element of judgment in me that I think comes up from the fact that, like, because I've been in business so long, and like literally I've been down to the wire, where it is like I've got payroll, COVID, I've got bills coming out my ass, like trying to feed my kids, like absolute shit shows that I've dealt with in business, like people coming after me, but like all of the things. And then I see these people, like I had a client once that jumped on a call and she was like, I want to make 10K a month. Of course, everybody does. I don't really want to do any lives. I don't really want to have to post every day. Like, and I don't want to invest in any software and I remember, like, literally I was like, I'm not your coach. Like, I'm really sorry. There will be somebody else that will take your money quite happily, but I am not that person. And when I heard like passive income, I was like, oh, here we go. It'll be another like in my pants. Never mind my team of 32 or my like 200 grand ad spend. Like, it's just me manifesting from a sun lounger. And then I saw Tori and I was like, yes. Oh, thank fuck, like how refreshing. Somebody who is actually, like you say, original. There's such a lack of originality in the online space and innovation, and it's such a missed opportunity for me right now. I'm like, if we could all, because we've all got like that divine feminine energy, and we've all got our own unique stories, you said, our own unique zones of genius, own gifts that we bring to the table, and own ways of doing things, our own journeys. And yet everything, even like from when we're at school, just tells us to be like everybody else, and success leaves clues and all of the things. And it's just like, it's so sad, like it's so disappointing when you come into the online space and it's like you can literally do whatever the hell you want. You've got like lots of different platforms, you've got lots of different ways you can express yourself, lots of different ways that you can serve and help other people. Like, why are we all trying to do the same thing? We're like bloody like crabs or whatever it is in a barrel. So that was kind of like what's the irritating me. It's that and it's like, I do think, obviously I'm very like, it's the patriarchy and all the things, but it's like, where is, like, we've got to like cultivate more innovation, more originality, more like original thinking, and stop looking outside of ourselves into everybody else to give us the answers. It's like, but we get to do that as leaders within our own respective industries, that encourage our clients to do the same, so that you can really stand out.
I think a lot of it comes with experience.
Yeah, and confidence, like finding your own way. Yeah, 100%. I wasn't this version of me at 30. Me at 40, I'm like completely different. My brother laughs. He's like, oh my God, you've turned into mum. Like, she was that one that was like outspoken that you couldn't take anywhere, because she was definitely like going to say something offensive. I'm like, I'm that person now, because I've kind of done my time, like being vanilla, and you're being people pleasing and like all of the things. And now I'm like, if you're my vibe, you're my tribe. If you're not, that's okay. Like, you know, it does come with experience and confidence, 100%. But equally, even like some of my clients now, it's like giving them permission. Like you say, Kaylee, like, how do you really feel? What do you really want to do? Like, if we didn't have to worry about like doing this, then doing this, because somebody else said we had to like earn our stripes in between each stage, and we could actually just do what we want, what would that look like? And that's when you create like real magic. I did this exercise with a client the other day, and literally we just did like a couple of hours together, and she was like, so I guess I need a group program and I need this. And I was like that shit, is that actually what you want to do? And she's like, well, not really. I actually hate group programs. I hate this. Do you know what's irritating me right now? My kids. And I was like, so how about we just do what we want to do? We did that, and she literally bagged like 10k the next day, because she was like, because I'm so goddamn obsessed and excited to actually go out and do this thing. I've sold it already. I've sold like 3 places, and it's like, yes.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it, Beck? Like, just on like Tori's point there, you'll know this, the other ladies may not so much, but like for me, and still to this day, it's still the same. I say this in a lot of my talks, it's really about relatability. My whole time in gaining business has come, yes, from me sharing like skills and values, but I said this to Beck, every client that I sign on feels that they know me as a person. Like, I'll get on a call and they'll be like, oh yeah, Sarah, when you lost your hair in Thailand, I'm like, oh, you remember that? Oh, Sarah, that time when you fell off your scooter, and I'm like, in Bali, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like, they'll all reference things that I've forgotten that I've posted, but then they're like, oh yeah, when you shared about that really awful time that you had. And I'm like, yeah, they're like, we just love how real you are. So because you're so real, like even today, Beck knows this, I left my charger for my Mac in Wales, absolute nightmare. Has anyone tried to use a laptop the next day when you don't have a charger and you just don't have access to anything? It's actually soul destroying. I felt lost for 2 days because Amazon Prime took so long to get the charger. But I still went on my story and was like, so this turned up, like I've not had my charger, because sometimes people like to see, oh, this person is real. Like, they're not just there saying like, oh, look at me, I'm amazing, and I'm this digital nomad that travels the world, look at me. It's like, no, actually I have real life problems. The day before Greece, I spilt full coffee all over my Mac Airbook, straight on Instagram, like, great. Had to get on a bike because I'd sold my car, bike 5 miles to the nearest Mac store to sit and wait as a sweaty Betty. This is all documented. But people will come back and tell you this, like, oh my God, was you not devastated when that happened? And I'm like, well, yeah, I was. Like, of course I was. But I think people expect you to be so real and be like, oh no, I'm perfect, like a pro, amazing. And I think that's the issue, like what you were saying, Kaylee, and others, that I don't know when this shift happened, because it was not like this in 2017. I make 10k days, I make this. That just wasn't a thing. Everyone was like, oh my God, I've got a freebie and 100 people have signed up. Like, where are the days of the freebies? No one really actions them anymore. Anyway, I'm a chatty Cathy too, but I'll move on to my ick just for everyone. Slightly different. It's not really about the industry. It's these bots. I am trying to find a hack to stop the porn watching my stories. I am sick of this PR in my inbox. Like, hi, I'm Sarah from @Power, and you go on their account and there's 100. I'm like, I know every system on Instagram, and I cannot for the life of me stop this. It's not my hashtags. It's not this. How are these bots, when I'm not even putting anything on, attaching to my stories to tell me to watch porn? I am sick of the porn, everyone. I am there like block.
How much free time do they think that we have?
I have about, literally every day, there's about 10 porn people on my stories. And I'm like, how have you found me?
I'm the only ones that watch them some days. I'm like, oh, bless her. Thank you for supporting my stories and answering my parts.
I don't understand like the programming. Like, I've tried every testing theory, every hack to try and stop it, gone into settings. I don't understand, ladies. If anyone wants to educate me on how to actually change it, yeah, I've tried that as well.
Connecting to your browser history, Sarah.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry, I thought she was giving me a result of like actually clearing my cookies. I've tried that, I've tried everything, but the point I've tried to, if I do manage to find a hack for us to get rid of them, I will send it to you all individually, because it is on the top of my list.
I can imagine you going to like Mark Zuckerberg's house and being like, dude, what is going on?
Yeah, where are these new bots come from?
Annoying. I found that my account was taken down, so I'm over it now. But a few months ago, my account was taken down, no explanation. It said that I'd violated community guidelines. There's nothing you can do. You try and appeal it, and you just get bot responses. But my account's as PG as they come. And I think, how is that happening where I'm being taken down, but you go on your stories and all you're seeing are people's or bots' asses? I don't know if they're people or bots, but how is that allowed to happen? It's just the unfairness of it all.
Fiona, the best laugh is when I reported it, it came back and said they saw nothing wrong with it. I was like, have you seen the title? 18 plus video with all these emojis. Anyway, if you do lose your account though, if anyone uses Facebook ads, Fiona, you can, if you've got your ads chat member, they can reactivate it for you.
Yeah.
Or if you ever know anyone that's got a connection like myself or Beck, or probably every lady you know enough, if you can get into someone that has direct, because in ads you've got direct access to a chat, to fix a lot of those problems.
So I tried lots of things, and then I got an email in August to say, apologies, we made an error, your account has now been reactivated, and it's just not there. But I'm over it now. I learned a lesson. We move, we rebuild. In the face of that annoying situation, so many people were so kind and lovely, and you learn from it. So yeah, so it's all good.
At least you've got the most up-to-date Instagram with all the correct updates, because I've got 4 accounts with completely different app features. It's great fun when you're managing. So if you've got the newest one, you shouldn't have any problems. Anything anything after 2019 is fine. Anything before it, there's just constant issues that I'm dealing with all the time.
And I've got so many accounts that I run for clients as well. I'm like constantly like having to flip between and like, why is there no music on this? Like, this is not okay. So what do you think is like the most overlooked thing by female entrepreneurs right now? Like, what are they missing in their business, or just not appreciating or valuing? I'm sure if Holly was here, she would have said SEO, because a lot of people obviously are like just totally like forget about longevity of content, and they're just like looking for those quick wins. I think for me, it's the value of relationships. Like genuinely, I didn't even have social media for 6 months. People don't remember me back from then, but when I was pregnant, I had a really awful like personal time, and I physically could not be online, and my business grew by like 60% because I just had so many incredible women that kind of rallied around. Thank you, Fiona, thank you. And like business clients that renewed, and I was actually like good. And I think that for me is why I wholeheartedly am it's not just a hashtag and it's nice to have fun and with other women in business. It's like, actually, like there is strength in numbers. The more that you can really lean in and find the people that will go to bat for you, the more that like longevity in business. And like they are few and far between, don't get me wrong. I've met lots of women in masterminds and all the things, and it's very surface level friendships. That's okay, like that's absolutely fine. But the ones like Sarah's like one of my ride or dies, and I just think those like hold on to them tight, whether they want to or not, whether they want to see your kids, whether they want to see you breastfeeding on a FaceTime. Like hold on to those people tight.
And that's it, Beck, though, for you guys, it's really good. I can't do this surface level stuff. I'm like, literally, I like you or I don't. Like, I don't have time for anyone in business that I think's a snake. Honestly, I'll just put it out there. I can't deal with snakes. I don't like people that like copy or like they become your friend, steal your ideas and then run off. It's like, it's still not original. Like that'll come from the person that's like Beck or Kaylee or Tori or, you know, sorry, I'm such a name on there. Katerina, is Katerina?
Yeah, Katerina.
Yes, sorry, thank you. You know, original ideas, like you can tell when it comes from that original because you're so passionate about it and you're so out there to get it done. Was just really my 2 cents on that bit. But you're right, it's completely around like finding, as you said before, your vibe attracts your tribe.
What about you guys? What do you think is like the most kind of underrated thing for business success that people are maybe
sorry,
not?
can I just add in on that? I might have to jump off in a second. Do you know what I really think that everyone needs to be looking for, if they haven't already, is just AI integration. It's going to be one of those things where if you don't start to look at it now, where everyone thought TikTok was for kids, Instagram was for kids, LinkedIn was just for business, it will happen with AI as well. That if you haven't started to look at it or you want to play around
like ChatGPT?
Yeah, I already use ChatGPT. I'm on that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I'm like, what do you mean by AI? Is there something else that I don't know? God damn it.
Yeah, there's 4 or 5 different systems that are getting built now when it comes to like AI. So you've got obviously ChatGPT. I don't know if anyone's seen the trend for like it can now do your business photos. I'm personally not trying it. We should also be photographers.
Is it Romini or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it is. And that's
AI photos.
Yeah.
What about ManyChat? Are you using ManyChat?
No, I have a different add-on. I'll tell you what it's called. Elm. I've got
ManyChat's not
Elm.
like AI though, is it? It's just automation.
Yeah,
Oh, is
not
it
yet,
not?
but
ManyChat is sick though. I do love ManyChat, but I've been using AI to make digital products, like actually make digital products. It's jokes. Like it's
Yeah.
The whole thing,
Yeah.
every
Right.
like
I
right to
have
the finished
to-
product.
I have
Yeah,
to
like-
change like a few things, but yeah, it's like the next module dropping in passive income school. It's so fun for making like coloring books and everything.
Yeah.
It is wild, and to be honest, I think fucking
Yeah.
scary.
This is it, Tori. I know it's scary, but that's the thing. And sorry, just to add, I saw Fran was going to say the one that I was going to say next, is straight in there. Canva, like I haven't tried it yet, but everyone's screaming about how good Canva is. Probably the same as what you've been using, not the same, Tori, but a different variation. But they're going to be incorporating it into like absolutely everything. And you can still use it. Like at first I was like, I'm not using it. It is fake. It is inauthentic. It is taking away your voice. It's not actually. If you can actually train it, you can actually get it to be your voice but written better. Is what I would probably say. Like when I did it for the first couple of times, I was like, yeah, I'd have never written that. I'm going to put my hands up. It would never have come across in that way. But yeah, there's other integrations that are coming, and I know that they're building. Elon Musk in the background is building like a Chrome, not just Chrome, but an extension. If you haven't noticed, I haven't got ChatGPT as a text message yet. They've now got it integrated to where it can text for you as well. But I think as business owners, spoiler alert, sharing it for everyone, one thing that I always try and look for is like the gap. Like what's the next big thing that's going to come to set everything up? And it's definitely going to be some kind of AI extension that fixes everything together, that it all, like Kajabi with funnels, it's going to be something like that intertwines everything, that you just say do this and it'll just send it out to everything at once.
100%. Positioning and timing is the like number one thing that you need in business. And for most of the people that we're now paying like hundreds of thousands of pounds to mentor us, it's because of their positioning and their timing. That is why they're so successful. Could they replicate their success today? No. And I think they would be honest in that, because they no longer have the monopoly that they had when they started. So it's for us now to, like Sarah says, look for those opportunities. One thing that I always think is, and this is because I'm an entrepreneur first. In my heart, I am an entrepreneur first and I'm a business coach second. And I always look at, you know, Gary Vee and other people, things that other people are investing in. So like cryptocurrency. And obviously that's something 100%, like we all need to be jumping onto virtual currency. But he always said about, I think that's again why I feel really passionate about not just having a social media business. Sorry, ladies, like I know like you need that as well. Obviously, you need to be able to drive traffic. But Gary Vee said a couple of years ago, like it will get to a point where you'll be sitting in your kitchen and it will be like Google, connect me, like find me a business coach, and it will literally like voice recognition just come up with whoever's got the biggest online profile across the board. And that really stuck with me, because I was like, that's true. Like that's like generally at some point everything will be voice commands, everything will be AI, everything will be like operating at this higher algorithm where it's like, if you do not have the biggest digital footprint with the biggest longevity of content that is like multi like faceted and all the things, like you will just get lost. Like you will never ever come up in a search on Google. So like you can't just rely on one platform. You know, my reach on Instagram has like, it's crazy. I used to get so many hundreds of views on my stories, even with a tiny audience. Now, because I'm quite chatty Cathy in the DMs and stuff, so I've always had great connection. Now I can go down to like 4, and I'm like, that is not sustainable as a business model. So we've either got to pay more and more money on ads, or we've got to have a profile and a brand that is bigger than a social media page. So I think that in itself will always stand the test of time in business, whatever you choose to do.
I agree. Yeah. Emails, email lists. I literally all the time say to people, makes me angry.
Data, Tori.
Yeah. Get it. Yeah. I would say emails like the biggest thing loads of people miss. The minute I get my clients on emails and we use them for launches and everything, it just like everything just goes like mad.
I'm a new convert to emails. Like I was like so resistant. I was like, yeah, I know I need to do it, but like I'm busy, blah, blah, whatever, I can't be bothered. Then when I actually did it, then when I just launched my most recent group coaching program, like I wanted to sell 10 spots and I sold 10 just from the email list. And I was just like, what the fuck, like this shit actually works. Like, why? I don't like to do things.
Did you
know,
think I was lying to you?
I know that you lot are telling the truth, but like, I just don't like to do as I'm told. Okay, like, I just don't want to do it. I'm not doing it. I just want to post on Instagram and have fun. But no, it actually works. I'm like, oh, why didn't I start this sooner? You know, like, and it's easy. Like, you can literally take your Instagram caption and then that's an email. And like we said before, chat GPT, but please just edit your chat GPT stuff like that. I just wanted to add that disclaimer as well, because I see so many people, I go on Instagram and I'm like, chat GPT, like if it's got 2 emojis at either side, it's got a little title, and then it always, chat GPT always does like a conclusion, and it's like overall, and then it says the title again. Like, I can just look at it, I'm like, babe, please edit your chat GPTs.
It's so like, cringe, isn't it? I see. Yeah, I see that all the time as well. It's I personally don't really use it. I messed around with it when it first came out, but yeah, I don't know. I believe AI is going to be really huge as well, but I do disagree with like a lot of what certain people are saying as well. Like, you know, Gary Vee saying, you know, people are just going to go, hey Google, find me a business coach, and then everyone who doesn't come up is fucked. I don't agree, like, because we were literally all just saying how much we are starting to value connection, and that's what we're looking for. Like, there's that we're all still human beings, and like we're only going to crave that more. Like, the more that gets taken away from us, the more we'll just crave that. So yeah, I disagree with some of the things they say, but it is going to be massive. Like, it will totally take over. I can see, you know, airport staff going, you know, supermarket staff going, the lot, like not anytime soon, but eventually.
I can see schools going. Like, this is the thing, like, we're going to go through such a massive shift in society and collective, and it's fascinating for me because obviously I'm a psychologist, like, by trade. I've got a background in psychology, hypnotherapy. Like, I love working with the deep subconscious mind, and you'll get this, Kaylee, as well. It's like, as humans, we're meant to be part of a collective, and yet everything is kind of pulling us apart and making us like super separate and all the things. And I definitely think it will be like ebbs and flows and we'll come back. But even like the education system, like I'm already homeschooling one child and I might end up with 2 at home. It's just like people are more and more like unaccepting of like the societal norms that are actually very unhealthy and toxic. So if we're all like now no longer bound by this like community society contract, what does that mean? It's going to make us more and more like separate, like it was in COVID. It'll be interesting. Like, it's like, ooh, interesting. What's going to happen to the world in the next like 20 years?
I feel like we're talking about like the purge or something. I'm scared. I don't want that to happen.
It makes me want to bloody get pally with Elon Musk. So the next time he goes to Mars, I could be like, just take me with you. I've had enough of it here. Yeah. Let's go there.
Yeah. I still agree. I agree with both points, but I think it is going to go that way back. But then I think on the same side with what Tori was saying is that, again, those that are really active, which we all seem to be on like our socials and stuff, sharing the day to day, ultimately, as again, the urge of selling know, like, and trust. If someone thinks they like you, thinks they know you and can relate to you, they're ultimately going to trust you to buy from you. Whereas me saying I don't even have an Alexa, believe it or not, am I the only one here that doesn't have an Alexa? But
even my kids have got Alexa. She reads some bedtime stories.
I don't have one, but it's like I say, hey Alexa, tell me this or whatever. Like, I'm like really like a person that likes to know the person. Very much what you said, Kaylee, like I have to really feel I know that person to really have that connection. Say if you, Tori, with who we're working with. So if someone said to me, I don't know, Joe Blogs or something, I'd be like, well, okay, all your socials and everything look great. But what we're seeing as a trend now, which I haven't spoke about, is actually all the hierarchies now. They're actually a lot of outdated methods. People are paying high ticket, not getting to speak to them, not getting the connection. And then it makes my life and all your life harder, because then when you feel that you're on a call, like, I shouldn't have to convince you, like, you've booked this call, but then I get but I spent 3,000 on whatever, hasn't worked out. And I'm like, okay, and you're not going to say it's brutal as this, but it's like, but that was your decision with that person. I'm a different person. You're going to actually get a different experience because we're working closely with each other. We're not on a group coaching, or if it is a group coaching, I'm quite intimate. Like, I will not do any more than up to 10. Same with my retreats, because I want every person that attends to feel I got so much out of Sarah. She sat with me. She spoke to me. So I think that's where it's going to come back round full circle, that I don't really care what Alexa says or whichever, I'll research it. But if I don't feel that connection or that person is genuine and they're at the top of the, not a pyramid scheme, but we'll just say the top of the whatever.
Did you just call coaching space a pyramid scheme?
Well, in some
Ew.
terms, but in some terms, I'm not going to lie, for some of the 7-figure earners and whatever out there, it is like, and
Yeah.
I think I'm one of the only ones that's like actually open enough to start saying, like you said, Beck, a lot of them will be transparent and a lot of them will, yeah, I could do it again. Like, no, you couldn't. You was in a different era when a lot of other things went in your favor, that if you came back to it today, good luck, hun. Like,
Yeah.
start getting out there again with your emails that like not many people sign up to. You've got to really stand out in this space now, but for the person that you are, not pretending, not like, oh, I'm gonna do this to make myself look good. Like, sometimes I've gone to luxury resorts and got the worst room and shared it as a laugh. I got a brick wall in New York. I was like, not what I was expecting on my Instagram feed. But anyway, so it just shows that, like, even though these things are changing, I still think if people are really wanting to drive to success, they will spend the time researching it. And if they feel that you're the person for them, I'm not here to please everyone. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. But the people that do work with me, we have that gelling bond, which I think that's how people should look at an industry. I've had clients I dreaded getting on the calls with. Like, I don't even know how we ended up working together. This wasn't a good match. I'm going back into my first couple of years. I was on a call being the professional, like, oh yeah, I'm this. And then it was kind of like, okay, people pleaser here, too much high stakes. This person's really demanding that I actually feel like they're shouting at me when we speak to each other, because the results that they're wanting, like someone literally realistically wanted 10,000 followers in 2 days to get a swipe up. Like, it's not going to happen. And that was quite clear in our call, but they'd gone away different. So in the beginning, I had to really figure out, this isn't like my vibe. Like, I don't really want to work with these people. We did finish and everything sorted itself out, but I literally dreaded that phone call every week. And it was 12 weeks as well. So I was like, oh my God.
I say on like every discovery call now, like at the end, I have this disclaimer bit and I'm like, just so we're clear, you're not going to get 10K followers in a month, because literally I had someone that was the same. They were like, oh, we've done social media management for a month. And like, you know, my 100 followers haven't become 10K yet. And I was just like, where did I say that would happen? Like, that wasn't part of the deal. Like, that's not going to happen, babe. And now I'm so like, okay, so like it takes time, that's not going to happen. And people are like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, like it's not you. I just have to say this to everyone because I can't.
But that in itself is such a huge shift, because where I was taught the days of like, take people's card payment on the call, promise them whatever you want, like just get them over the line, handle their objections, like, and that's how I came into the coaching space, and then quickly discovered that was not for me. So now to be able to actually have these like manage expectations conversations, like that's another shift in itself, because at one point people would not have invested in you without that disclaimer, and they would have gone to somebody else that'd be like, yeah, sure. Like,
no, people actually thank me. And like when people come to me, because obviously I'm talking about like the agency side rather than my coaching side, so they want done for you social media management. And when I get people who come and they say like, I've got an event in a week and I need to sell 50 tickets, I'm just like, I don't think that's achievable. Like, I'm very upfront. I'm like, we will try our best. I've run a group program about getting leads from Instagram. Like, I know how you can get leads, but I can't say that organically in a week you're going to get 50 tickets sold. Like, I just will not guarantee that. And people are actually like, wow, like, I really appreciate your honesty and your integrity, because like, yeah, there are people who will say that. And that's, I think, what we were talking about earlier. It gives coaching, or it gives social media managers, or whatever industry it is, it gives us all a bad name and makes it all harder for every single one of us, because someone's out there making fake promises and people get burned, and then they don't trust us when we actually can help them, and we actually do want to help them. So yeah, that's like a huge thing for me. And I'll never like chase someone up. Like, I will follow up with people, but if you want to work with me, then you know where I am and you can come and work with me. Like, I'll never be like begging you to work with me, you know. I feel like it's just so important to be in integrity.
And I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. And the one thing that I like to say now, which I learned obviously on the journey, and Beck knows I do this with all of my clients now, I have to make it clear it's 50% me giving you the information and 50% you actioning it, because some people get this expectation, paid you money, you'll fix it. And it's like, no. I'm training. So just to be clear, on any consultation call, I would say it's 50% me giving you the information and 50% you going away and implementing it. And that's where we'll start to see those results. Because at one point I didn't actually have any problems with it, but I could see that there was like this, the more the coaching industry going up, there was more this high expectation that if it doesn't work, because I've paid you money, you'll actually go in and fix it. And it's like, no, you need to actually be committed that every week you're going away and implementing the tasks, and then if they come back and say they haven't, that responsibility is on you, not me as a coach.
They don't just need to be in your energy, Sarah.
Yeah.
Find 10,000 followers. What? Like,
do you know, like, one of the most empowering things for me as a business owner was when I like switched from just like still working with them, when I actually like let go of clients and thought, do you know what, like, I don't need your money. When you switch from that kind of scarcity mindset that you're like, oh, I need the money, to thinking, fuck this, like, I am not getting out of bed for this hard work. And also raising your prices as well. Like, I think back to my original prices, and there is no way I would get out of bed for that. Like, I mean, I'm out.
Hello, Shanice. We actually had a VIP day. God, I don't even know how many years, a couple of years ago was that? And
last
like,
year.
no,
It wasn't that long ago, Beck.
oh my God, it feels like 2 years ago, like at least. Oh my
like,
God, that's
I've
crazy.
been for like
Yeah.
15 months.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wow, you've like really like evolved into that role. You own your space, which I absolutely love. It's like proud mama moment. But when you look back to like even just that call, and it was like, I just want to make like this and I'd be happy. And it's like to see you now, like actually like, no, do you know what? Not all money is equal. I've got value I bring to the table, and you have to like, I have to want to work with you, not just you. Like, I'll take anybody's money, I'll work with anybody. Like, that's really like empowering and just such a testament to your growth, like coming into your own as a business owner, where it's now like entirely on your terms. That's like, that gives me life.
Well done, Shanice. And that's it, isn't it? I mean, Becca will remember this. Sorry, I don't really know anyone else on a close level, but I'm sure we'll all be besties after this. Becca will tell you, I got a client when I was in Australia last year, and I just didn't like how demanding she was on our first call, so I instantly refunded her. I was like, you're not the person
Not
for me.
today, Satan.
Yeah, literally, like, I was in the time zones got a little bit confusing, so I was trying to explain to the client, like, you know, I thought we gelled really well, but her expectation was, I've paid you money, you will be there at that seat at this time, was very too much. I literally said, I've refunded you, I'm not working with you. And she was
How
like,
did she take it?
Not well. Do you remember Beck? Not well. She was constantly like, first it started off like really aggressive. I got a lot of effing and jeffing and stuff, because she was more annoyed at the fact that the Stripe refund takes 10 days. So I was getting the blame that she was like, well, I paid you straight away, so I should have got the refund straight away. And I was like, I can't go against Stripe. And I was screenshotting very professionally, screenshots and circling where it says Stripe's terms and conditions. It takes 7 to 10 working days. And then all of a sudden, the next day, I hadn't blocked her at this point, I got a message that just said, oh, actually, I didn't realize that he was in Australia. She very much knew I was in Australia. I'm really sorry about what's happened. Is it possible that we can just, I'll repay you the money and we can just jump on the call as normal? And I was like, absolutely not. No, I was very professional, but I was like, I'm sorry, I just...
You're a narcissist. Like,
yeah,
sorry, not. No.
Well, what made it worse is, in her mind, she was like expecting as well to make like $1 million in like this first month as well, which we got to the point where that wasn't a realistic goal of like 6 figures in the first month.
But even if it was, like, you're missing the whole point.
Well,
like,
yeah, this is it. But the point I was trying to make is that, like what Shanice was saying as well for everyone, it's like, even if you've taken money from people, you soon realize they're not for you. It's like, you are not worth me feeling like I'm a like bad coach, or I've got to do this.
Not all money is equal.
No, exactly. And it's just about stepping into your own. And at the time, if I'm honest, and Beck's aware of this, is that like I actually could have really done with that extra 1-to-1 at that time. I was in Australia, which is extremely expensive, like difficulties as we all can have in our personal lives. But I was like, do you know what? I'd rather not. Like, I would just rather put my best self back out there and just call in the right person. And I did literally 2 days later. Like,
I think the universe is always listening. Like, everything with money is symbolic. And when you say that I'm worthy and deserving of more, that's when the universe is like, yes, bitch, let's go. Like, I see you. And I think that's where things like really start moving. So I wanted to just kind of like close it off. Like, what are you either focusing on for the end of the year, or your next level goal that you're looking to achieve? Like, I'm always like inspired by people's like next level of growth. So should we go rounds, and then like each of us can say? So I guess for me personally, just getting it in there first of all, obviously I'm writing my book, which has just been such an interesting journey. Like, I started it in LA, feeling bougie as hell, and now I'm finishing it like one-handed whilst breastfeeding. It's like not quite the same vibe. Trying to keep like the good affluent vibes going, but it's not quite the same. But that in itself, like that's been a huge thing for me. Like just even, you know, I've got ADHD, like I'm manifesting generator, like I struggle to finish projects to the completion in that level of detail in anything I do. So for me, this feels like a check me out moment, even if I just get it over the line and it's done. So that feels like really good growth for me. Just, you know, personally, it's not like the biggest thing, but it feels like a big thing for me. So yay. Kaylee?
Well, I'd say I've got lots of things in the pipeline, but as many of you know, my background's education, and it's always been kind of like my goal to basically travel around the UK and share with all of the students in terms of basically just believing in themselves, so working an awful lot on growth mindset, positive psychology. So I am launching officially in January a brand new kind of product program idea, but it's basically going to be traveling around the UK and going in and basically sharing and giving students the opportunity to truly understand what their choices are, their options. I've got a lot of background information in terms of the education system, and there's a massive gap there. And I feel like our children are going to benefit from this. And I just want to make it like almost as if it's like a movement. It's like an opportunity for them to really, truly see what is actually available to them, because I don't think the curriculum is covering exactly what it could.
Oh, that's so lovely. Like,
Yeah,
that's incredible.
That's really good.
Yeah. What about you, Sarah? Sorry, you're next on my screen.
So the vision for myself is I want to really go down the more in person. We've always speak about those connections. So I have a few more of my retreats. They just keep getting more luxurious every time. Just side note, everyone, there won't be any more in England because no one actually cared about England. It's a tough sell. Everyone likes going abroad. So they were just like, anyway, still sold.
I did say that. I was like, if I've got 2 days away from my kids, no offense.
Well, that was the feedback that I got from everyone.
Somewhere far more exotic.
Yeah, everyone that was interested, every time I was like, oh, you coming? They were like, yeah, I'll wait till next year when you go abroad. I'm not doing England. I'm like, oh, all right then. Okay, never mind. So yeah, going more into like the retreats, more down the agency route in terms of really trying to help people navigate not just like socials, but literally everything, including marketing ads and whatnot. But then more importantly, like for me, I really want to start to go back to volume. I'm starting to like go back in business. A lot of people, like, as we always say, like what worked in the beginning, like go back to basics. Like, it's not that I'm struggling or anything, but what I'm finding is I used to love doing all my challenges, all of them. And as I've like grown in business, it's kind of taken a sidestep where it's just been more high ticket stuff a lot of the time. Whereas actually, I
like
really
the energy, don't you? The volume.
Yeah, I love the
more
volume
energy,
of people.
more passion, more
like, but I also want it to be accessible to people, because sometimes the lower ticket offers, they really help people get to a sense of you, don't they? Like, it's them seeing a little bit of how you work, rather than, yes, they can see results, but actually, is that giving them a taste? Like I found, I don't know if anyone else is, and then I'll side note, I think I've given a bit away there, but just to add personally, I'm living in Hawaii for a month next year. That's my top of my bucket list. We know what I'm like with the bucket list, Beck.
I know it's so hard to be friends with you, Sarah. Like, seriously, that fucking tan line haunts me. I'm like,
the grace, yeah. But yeah, I really want to go back to a little bit more of basics, which, you know, any little bit, whichever, might donate some to charity, whatnot. But it's like, I just want to start to get a community back together. Like, I'm a big Facebook group person. I don't know if anyone else in here loves a good Facebook group. I am literally a die-hard Facebook group. I cannot get enough of my community. But since we've changed it in Meta, even that reach has gone. So even like if you're trying to do free challenges and things, like I used to have hundreds, and that is not an exaggeration, hundreds. Now it'll like show it to like, I don't know, I've got nearly 5,000 in the community, and it'll be like, well, just show it to 6 people. I'm like,
yeah, I'm like the John Travolta gif where I'm like, hello?
Yeah, like, but then no one interacts on that either. So you're like, I've actually made a joke as well, and no one's like going for it. So I'm really, I want to
make a joke and no one's laughing. How rude.
Yeah, like literally. Did you feel like, should I remove that? Like, it's kind of like that felt cute, might delete later. Like literally, I might actually do that. Anyway, so yeah, so for me, I think I'm really going to focus, not that it's dead, because it's not, there's still a lot to be said about communities, but I really want to try and bring back the OG Facebook communities. I don't know if that's going to be a challenge for me alongside other things, but I'm going to attempt it, maybe start a new one, because that group actually lit me up more than my Instagram did, because I could see the people constantly talking. It was really interactive. You just don't get that on Instagram lives, hence why I liked to go between the two. So that's just more of a personal goal.
Yay. Fran, you're next on my screen. Usually like oh, what are you working on right now? What would you say is your next goal?
Well, I've just joined Kaylee's program, Unstoppable. So I'm literally at the start of my business journey. I've been doing all the business building foundations, so I'm just at the start of it.
Oh, you could not be in safer hands.
Yeah, thank you.
Kaylee is an angel on earth. That would just be lovely.
It was interesting listening to you all saying about like what resonates with people and stuff like that. I feel that I couldn't be further removed from Kaylee. However, there's something for real, because I'm a scruffy little hippie who's in her 50s, you know, all my children are adults, and what am I going to resonate with? You know, I don't even wear makeup or anything, you know. It's the messaging.
We all love a hippie, Fran, and with a surfer, we all love the hippie.
For me, it was the authentic messaging. You know, that's what drew me. So I really feel that I resonate with Kaylee as being, you know, being my coach, because of the messaging, the power in that. So sometimes it isn't just about I get it that people get it from different ways, you know, and why they resonate with somebody. And for me, it was the power of that messaging and the authenticness of it as well.
Yeah, and I think
I'm literally just at the start of everything.
Oh,
and
so
enjoying
all of
it
it's
too.
New, all of it's growth.
I've got something to tell you about technology though. I did drop it into the comments. Apparently, and this is true, apparently the next thing is Sky are working on the fact that you can actually put yourself into a movie. So you could become Angelina Jolie or no, it's true. They're working on it now. And that's the advance of the AI advance.
What? Does that mean I can make Tom Hardy my boyfriend?
Yes.
Oh my God, don't. That guy lives down the road from me. Do you know how much time I spend in Richmond trying to find him?
When am I coming to your house?
Anytime. Like literally, he's in Richmond all the goddamn time. And I'm like, Tom, you didn't wait for me. Like, why? Like, I went to the cupcake place that you go to.
Yeah, but you don't have to do that now. You can just wait for them to roll out this new AI thing, and then you can actually spar with him in the movie.
Oh my God, that's hilarious, isn't it? I have been like, my friend made me like Britney Spears in a load of music videos, which was interesting. I was like, oh, should I be blonde? Like, didn't know about this. That's like one step further than that, isn't it?
It's going to get more advanced. Some of it's to do with, I had to write this down, it's to do with quantum dots. So, and a lot of the quantum dot stuff, they're working on remote surgery, and you know, like for real. And then it's like to do with nanoparticles and all stuff like that, but it goes into the resolution of stuff. So it's just never ending, isn't it? You're talking to a 70s child. Like I started off on CB radio, there wasn't even internet.
Oh, does anyone remember when Kiss 100 was a pirate radio station?
And Radio Caroline.
Yeah, does anyone remember that, or is that a London thing?
I was more excited when I managed to get a DV27 up in the loft of the block of flats, and I could reach Enfield on my CB rather than just round the corner.
Where do you live, Fran?
I'm based in Dorset, but I come from Enfield.
Ah, so I'm from like Boreham Woods. So literally,
I can hear your accent.
Yeah, it would be like Street Boy and Bam Bam. Oh, I love it. Oh my God, yeah, I love it. I'm not that much younger than you, Fran. I'm like in my 40s, so we probably have a great night out.
So I listen, like when you said you got 5, I've got 4. I've got 8 grandchildren.
Oh wow, see all the beautiful like energy. That's all it is. Like you attract the right people in, I think, for you.
Do you know what? Mine are all in different counties, and that's the way I like it.
Oh, love it. That's how I love it. Oh my God, I'm like the opposite. I'm such a needy bitch. Like my kids will never leave me. Be like, hello, me again. Oh, Claire, how about you? What's your like, what do you either want to close off or achieve before the end of the year? Like such a symbolic time.
Oh wow, I'm going to go back to basics. I think I've been throwing spaghetti at the walls for so long for this last year, and I've learned so much this week. It's been great listening to you all. So I'm going to go back to basics. I'm going to get a strategy behind every part of my business. And my visibility is the main thing that I want. I need to get visible. I need to pound the pavements. I need to give out leaflets because I'm a product-based business. So it's getting my face out there and Again, it's the whole social media thing. I need to kind of be consistent.
Yeah, that is it. That is like the only thing in business, isn't it? It's just consistency. Like that's how you build trust, and that's how people come back when they can see like, oh, Claire's still there. Like, oh, okay, what's Claire doing? You know, like, oh, I love it. Yeah, and that's how you become like front of mind, isn't it? Like when other things come up. I always say, like, for me, obviously having a barbershop, it wasn't like I want 1,000 people through my door all the time. I just want the people that come in to like keep coming back, you know.
Yeah.
So the more that you can give people a reason to come back, the better. Tori, what's your next level goal, other than like, you know, really lean into that 20k investment and like allow the magic to unfold?
I'm a manifesting generator, girl. You know this. We've got a billion things we want to do. I'll have 5 new things done by fucking Sunday.
I love that. Like Alice in Wonderland.
Literally.
9 impossible things before breakfast.
Yeah. Well, I want my membership to be the best membership on the internet. So that's like my big thing for the rest of the year. I was
just going to ask you that, Tori. Do you sometimes find just having one business a little bit like a challenge? Because I've got multiple businesses. Because I think
there's so much more I want to do. No, yeah, there's so much more I want to do, which is why though I think, so I don't do one-to-one. Like when you guys were all talking about clients out of alignment, I don't do one-to-one. I fucking hate it. Like I don't know what it is. I can't stand it. And like you said, especially if someone's demanding, and I'm like,
it's slow, isn't it? It's slow.
Yeah, it feels just a bit like, so like I feel like because I do a lot of group stuff and there's like loads of people all the time, and like I've never niched either. I'm not like I only work with coaches or I only work with this person. I work with absolutely everyone. So like that keeps it really fresh, because it is challenging. Because tonight I've got a client launching like Halloween s'mores kits, and then like I've got another client that we've just booked out her branding business for the rest of the year. So it is a challenge, because it's like, oh, what do we do with yours and what do we do with yours? So, but there are still a lot of things that I want to do. But yeah, I think my big goal for the rest of the year is, building my community more, because I mean I think it's amazing, obviously. And you guys are all like bigging me up and saying like I'm really authentic and that, and you know, it's a reason why I invested in Alex, is because when I was in Sardinia, and that's how I met Alex, I actually never felt so like, oh my god, I haven't been myself. It was like because she is, I don't know if any of you guys know who she is, but like the absolute fullest expression of herself. Like I thought I did not give a fuck. I have never met anyone in my life that really does not give a fuck. Like it blew me away, and I just remember thinking like, shit, like you really are like just you. Like I still hold myself back a little bit. So yeah, that's another thing I'm gonna try and
like Tori Unleashed.
Yeah, God,
by Christmas.
Tori on crack. It's gonna be fucking awful, isn't it? You're all gonna be like, whoa.
Is that not like the ultimate like Instagram handle? Tori on crack.
Yeah.
I look forward to trying to put that into my Google search. Alexa, find me Tori on crack. See what comes up.
So funny. But yeah, I think that's what I'm aiming for. I think just keep building the community, safe space for everyone, good space for everyone, and express myself maybe a bit more.
Tori, you'd probably like my me if I do cabaret then, because it's completely different, like total want and abandon.
Love it.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, it was like a really strange feeling. Like it was like, it made me sad, but it was also like liberating at the same time. And I realized like, oh, there's still so much more of me to discover, you know what I mean? And like, as well, I think we forget how much we like evolve. Like, you know, we were saying earlier, like I look at me when I started my business 3 years ago, and I was like on a mortgage holiday, shit scared. And I didn't even like, I did swear, but not like out in the open in front of everyone, because even that like scared me. Whereas now when I introduce myself, I literally say fuck shit bollocks. But it's like I think we forget how much we evolve, like, because we're just like go. It's almost like I've been holding on some kind of like attachment to this person 3 years ago, but it's like she needs to just like, you know.
Yeah, and you can find like that was definitely my journey, and then it meant that I ended up losing like a whole part of my own personal community. Like suddenly all of my friends were like, you've changed, we don't know who you are, we don't like these, like things that you're posting on socials and stuff, and and then like I had such a period of mourning where I was like, am I a bad person for wanting more? Am I a bad person for for suddenly not giving a shit and speaking about things that I actually want to speak about, and like, you know, not having time for the idiots that I used to waste time like worrying about and stuff. And so that's even more like important why you have your business tribes as well, because they're with you in this moment. Like, they're not holding on to Tori from when you were 18 and used to be the party girl and the people pleaser and the like do absolutely everything for everybody else version of you. Like, they see you now in your power. Like, Tori is an absolute badass, and probably still see that even next level that you don't even see yet. So that's like really important, is to make sure that you're surrounded by the right people in that process, so you're not feeling bad for that growth, you know.
100%. And I think
people
like,
want more, but they're scared of it. So when they see that you can do it, they, you know, it encourages them to do it.
Yeah,
totally. And even with like my fellow Ryan, like when I first started, and I remember being like, well, you know, there's people making this much and they're traveling and they're doing this and they're doing that, and like, that's what I want to do. And you just look at me like, shut up, mate, like, you know,
are you okay?
your head's in the clouds type thing. And then like now he's like he's like, you are doing
I'm
it.
interested.
Like,
I
well,
wonder how many
fuck you.
coaches end up retiring their husbands.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, I talked to my brother and he's like, it's obscene. Like, who are you? And I'm like, I don't, look at me.
I'm a bad
Get me out.
bitch.
Yes, he hates it. He's like my ultimate troll on socials. He's hilarious. He always like banters me all the time, and I'm like, fuck off my stories, like, stop answering my polls. Like, you're not my ideal client, and ruining my algorithm. Go away.
It's all engagement. It's all engagement. I retired my husband. He's just gone back to work though, because I got sick of him being in the house.
It sounds nice in theory, doesn't it? And then it's actually really annoying.
Yeah, 2 years he had off work, and then now I'm like, right, you can go back now. Like, get out of my house.
I wouldn't let Ryan retire. No way.
Yeah,
no
but then
way.
you could travel more if you're not like constrained by his work.
Yeah, I guess so, but I don't know.
Travel without him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do
I'm
those
going
retreats.
to go to Vegas next month, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like yeah, I don't know. I'd maybe support him in starting a passion. You know what I mean? Not just like, yeah, don't work, and because then
We
I'm
got
like,
kids. I think it's different because we have kids, so he took over like the like the house
My
role,
business.
yeah.
It's different for us, isn't it? Like,
I literally want him to stay at home more because he works like 8 till 6, so we don't actually see the kids. So in my business goals, like long term, it is for him to either be part-time or not work, so that we can have like the better family balance.
yeah, makes so much sense for you guys. Yeah, but for me and Ryan, it's like, what would he do? And like, you've got to like fuel each other up, you know, like. And if he was just like bumming about, like, he's been off work sick today, he's really ill, bless him. I had like a 3-hour nap with him. I'm like, you are distracting, like, piss off, go out. Like, whenever he's off work, I'm like, do you want to cuddle? No.
So Shanice, is that like your next level goal, to possibly Ryan, your husband, retire your husband?
Yeah, so I'm in a bit of a weird phase at the moment. I'm kind of changing my business up a bit. Like, I've obviously done social media management for a while now, and I want to kind of come away from that more and go more towards like mentoring. So like my background, how I got into the online space is obviously like mum influencer. So I want to help more mums at home be able to earn money. So like switch into more mentorship, and I do have a membership coming as well. I've teamed up with a mindset and manifestation coach, so it's going to be like the ultimate business bundle kind of thing. So yeah, just less like being in the weeds of the business and more like passive income and one-to-many, so that I'm more freed up to spend like more time with the kids.
Yeah, that's the thing. Otherwise you end up like just in this building energy all the time where you never actually get to the good bit. And then it's like, what am I building it for if I'm not actually going to like enjoy it with the kids? Yeah, totally get that. That's exciting. Well, let's make that like a new year goal by the end of the year, hopefully, if you've got a launch coming. What about you, Catriona? What's your like end of year, either need to let go of, want to call in, like working on your next level?
I feel like it's similar to a lot of the ladies, like, and the topic we've talked about tonight, which is like community. So I've currently got a group coaching program called Limitless Leads, where we've got 20 business owners. We've got one man in there, so I can't say 20 women, but he's all right with me saying ladies. And they're just getting insane results. Like, I love the group energy as well. I love how, like, when we all are working towards a goal together, like, we all motivate each other. So that is going amazing. So I'm excited to see like the final results that people get from that. Because it was the first round. I launched it for 297, but people have made like £2,000 in the first week. So I'm super buzzing about that. And then also I've got my membership launching as well, which is the growth game plan, which brings in social media management and business growth side, the leads and audience growth, because obviously they're my areas of expertise in social media management. But like Kaylee, I am also a positive psychology coach. And are you, Beck, as well?
For me, no.
Not positive psychology coach. Okay.
No.
Just everything else.
Yeah, literally got everything from like breath work, EFT, human design, psychology masters, NLP, like literally all the time.
Everything else.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm bringing in like the growth. It's like business growth, socials growth, personal growth. It's a bit of everything. So I feel like that's what people want right now. Yeah, I've spoke to so many people, and it's like, it's not just about the money. Like we've said all throughout this call, it's like spending the time with your kids and like feeling, you know, good in yourself and not comparing yourself online. So I'm super excited about that, and that's already launched. So,
and that sounds really exciting. Like we were saying, innovation, like that actually really feels like something really innovative and different. And I love that it is like growth in all areas. Like I feel so passionate about that as women. Like we're only scratching the surface. At every level, there's always going to be another level that comes, and you've got to give yourself permission to just continue to keep expanding, shining, like being all you can be. And it's great that even just somebody that typically is teaching something like social media, where back in the day it would just be like hashtags and trending reels and things. It's like, it is that, but it's also that internal growth. So it feels great that you're kind of like bringing all of that beautiful, like full circle. Can you imagine like the next generation of badasses that are coming up through our leadership?
It's gonna be insane. Yeah, because they've got, I feel like we, like you said at the start, you had Russell Brunson and everyone who was like, you know, marketing bros, like bro marketing, whatever. Now we're like talking about personal growth, authenticity, like affirmations, you know, all of this stuff that just makes us like well-rounded, rather than just being like, let's go for the money or let's go for the massive launches. Like we can actually have it all, and we're mums as well. Like, come on, like what more could you want?
No, my mum, poor mum, worked at the co-op, like literally, like she wouldn't have had any of these opportunities. So we are that trailblazer right now as well, because we haven't got all these people doing it before us, and to kind of like lead the way and give us permission. It's very much like we're kind of finding our way and creating our own path. So honestly, ladies, thank you so much for this evening. It's been such an activating conversation and just giving me so much hope for all of these incredible things to come. Yeah, and Tori's just in there living her best life, no kids. Woo,
enjoy it, Tori.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't understand how you guys do it. I go to like, I spend a lot of time with my sister and my nieces. I pick them up every Friday and I love them to bits, guys. I'm very nice to my nieces, but in my head, I'm literally like, fuck off.
Yeah.
After like 5 minutes, after like 5 minutes, I'm like, I don't want to pick you up anymore. I can't do it. So yeah, how you guys do it?
I literally had 10 minutes in between a call trying to fucking like throw food down my throat. My daughter's asking me if we can write a book. And I was like, dude, can I just fucking finish I've just got like one mouthful, please. Like, are you joking right now? Are you just trying to give me some like trauma to talk about to your therapist? Like, just give me a second. Oh, and then I got the baby. I'm trying to go for a wee. I got a little hand under the door. I'm like, for God's sake. So Tori's got all of her good boob years ahead of her. I'm very excited about this prospect for you, Tori. Mine are like RAP. Yeah, but honestly, thank you so much, ladies. Like, genuinely, I've had so much fun, like, in this community. Obviously, this, again, I'm sure will be the first of many incredible joint ventures to come, hopefully for you guys and also for me and Kaylee. And Josh, you know, let's all keep supporting each other and doing the thing and just being that change that we want to see. And just, yeah, so honoured to be, like, part of your little crew for the last week. It's been fantastic. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. and creating such an
Anytime,
amazing
ladies.
space. Honestly,
Oh.
it's been amazing.
Thank you so much. See you all later. Have a
Thank you.
fantastic
Thanks, ladies.
rest of your week.
Bye.